Chapter 19 of Angel Food for Jack and Jill, Little Talks to Little Folks by Reverend Gerald T. Brennan. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Maria Therese. Chapter 19 The Only Key. Tommy Williams was a Boy Scout. Tommy liked scouting, and he learned many useful and interesting things. He liked the scout meetings, and he liked to march in parades. Every summer, too, the Scouts went to camp, and that's what Tommy liked best. He liked to live in the open, hike through the woods, cook his own meals, and sleep in a tent. At one of the September meetings, the Scoutmaster told the boys that he was going to take them to Philadelphia during the Easter vacation. When the boys heard that, they clapped and cheered. That was certainly good news. There was one thing, however, that the boys would have to do. They would have to raise the money for the trip. Tommy and his friends got busy. For several months they worked on all kinds of plans to raise money. The boys cut grass, shoveled snow, and did odd jobs. They sold candy and gum to their schoolmates. They had a show in the school hall and a pet show in Tommy's yard. The boys worked hard, and they saved the money they made for the Easter trip. The boys were certainly excited, and they thought Easter week would never come. Well, Easter week did come, and the boys went to Philadelphia. Oh, they had a wonderful time. They toured the city, visited the parks, and saw many interesting things. But the most interesting place of all was Independence Hall. The boys could hardly believe that the building was 200 years old. Tommy Williams had a special interest in Independence Hall because he had studied about it in school. This was the place where the Declaration of Independence was signed. Here, too, the Constitution was adopted, and in this building George Washington received the command of the Continental Army. Independence Hall was a very important place, especially to Tommy Williams. A guide showed the boys through the various rooms of Independence Hall and explained everything. The guide showed the boys the table where the Declaration of Independence was signed. He showed them the silver inkstand used by the men who signed the Declaration. Finally, the guide showed them the Liberty Bell that rang out for the first time in 1776. Tommy Williams was thrilled at everything he saw. It was a great day in Tommy's life, a day that he would never forget. When the guide had shown the boys everything, he held up a key. "This key," said the man, "is the only key in the world that will open the door of Independence Hall." The boys admired the key, and then Tommy Williams surprised everybody. "I'll bet I can open the door of Independence Hall," said Tommy, as he pulled a large key from his pocket. The guide smiled, and he didn't argue. "All right, young fellow," said the guide. "If you think you can open the door, we'll give you a chance." Tommy stepped outside, and the guide locked the door from the inside. What happened? Everyone was surprised when Tommy unlocked the door in a few seconds and walked into the room. Tommy's key was a skeleton key, or a master key, a special key that will open any door. Would you like to have a special key that will open the gates of heaven for you? Oh, I suppose you think that St. Peter has the only key to the gates of heaven. Well, St. Peter does have a key to the gates of heaven, but you can have a key too. Yes, you can. Your key to heaven is your soul when it is in the state of grace. Some day each one of you will die. If you die with one mortal sin on your soul, you won't be able to get into heaven. If you die in the state of grace, and that means that you have no mortal sins on your soul, you will certainly get into heaven. Of course, if you have some small sins on your soul, you will have to spend some time in purgatory. But after purgatory you will go to heaven. How does a boy and girl get into the state of grace? By going to confession. Confession takes away every mortal sin, and after confession you are in the state of grace. If you never commit another mortal sin, you remain in the state of grace. Why, you can stay in the state of grace for years and years. You can live in the state of grace forever. Thousands and thousands of people never commit a mortal sin. They are living in the state of grace. There is only one thing that will keep you out of heaven, and that is mortal sin. Don't take any chances. If you should fall into mortal sin, go to confession quickly. Always be in the state of grace. The state of grace is your key to heaven. End of chapter 19.